Today, we are going to borrow one of the most powerful ideas from the natural world and plug it straight into the world of business. We're talking about a way to make huge progress without just working harder. So, let's get right into it. But first, let's start with a question I think we've all asked ourselves. Why does it sometimes feel like you're trying to push a giant boulder up a hill? I mean, you've got a clear goal, right? Launch a new product, close a big deal, kick off a campaign, but just getting the thing to budge takes this massive, monumental effort. That initial inertia, it can be absolutely crushing.
So here's our game plan for tackling this problem. First, we're going to define that big hill, what I'm calling the project mountain. Then we'll meet nature's master consultant. After that, we'll steal its 5-part playbook, understand a really crucial detail about its methods, and finally, figure out how you can use all this in your own work.
Okay, so let's talk about that mountain. You see, every single project, I don't care how big or small, has this kind of invisible upfront cost. It's the energy it takes just to get over the starting line, to get teams aligned, to build that first rough version. This is the real barrier to getting anything done.
You know, science has the perfect name for this: activation energy. And what's so cool is how perfectly this idea from biology maps onto business. It's the absolute minimum energy you have to pump into a project before anything real can even start to happen. And honestly, for so many great ideas, that initial energy barrier is just so high they never get off the ground.
So what do we do? I mean, we could just try to push that boulder harder, right? Throw more money at it, more hours, more people. But nature, after literally billions of years of trial and error, found a much, much smarter way. It's not about finding more energy to push with. It's about lowering the barrier itself.
And that brings us to the hero of our story, the enzyme. In the world of biology, enzymes are what we call catalysts. They are nature's ultimate efficiency experts. See, they don't add more fuel to the fire. No. Instead, they find a shortcut. It's like they dig a tunnel straight through the mountain, creating a much more efficient path that dramatically lowers the activation energy you need to get going.
Okay, so how do they actually do that? And more importantly, what can we learn from them? This is really the heart of it all, the enzymes playbook. We're going to look at 5 specific strategies nature uses that we can translate one for one into powerful business tactics.
And here they are. 1. Stabilize the transition. 2. Align the resources. 3. Weaken old bonds. 4. Create the right environment. And 5. Guide the pathway. Let me tell you, this isn't just biology class stuff. This is a straight-up masterclass in project management and leadership. Let's break them down.
First step, stabilizing the transition. So any process is at its most unstable. It needs the most energy right at that peak moment of change. Enzymes actually help hold things together at that point, making it easier to get over the hump. In business, this is all about de-risking the scariest, most critical part of a project. Think about it. Maybe you build a simple prototype to get your boss to say yes, or you give your team extra support during a really tough launch week. You're making the peak of that mountain a little less terrifying to climb.
Number 2 is aligning resources. Enzymes are like tiny molecular matchmakers. They grab the exact pieces you need and hold them in the perfect position so they can connect. This is exactly what a great leader does. They don't just throw people into a meeting room. They connect the right people with the right information at precisely the right time. That's how you create the perfect conditions for a breakthrough.
Third strategy, weaken old bonds. Look, sometimes to build something new, you've got to break something old. Enzymes will actually put a strain on existing molecular bonds, making them way easier to snap. The business version of this, actively challenging the status quo. It's about questioning those old, clunky systems, those inefficient workflows, and especially that dreaded phrase, "but we've always done it this way." A good catalyst makes it easier to let go of the old, to make room for the new.
All right, 4th up, create the right environment. The part of an enzyme where the magic happens is called the active site, and it has the perfect conditions, the right temperature, the right charge for the reaction to just work. In business, this is all about your culture and your team's context. Is your team's environment actually set up for them to succeed? Do they feel safe enough to take risks? Do they have the right tools? As a leader, your job is to be the thermostat for that environment, setting the perfect conditions for success.
And finally, number 5, guide the pathway. Now this might be the most powerful of all. Sometimes an enzyme will temporarily link up with a molecule, and in doing so, it creates an entirely new, lower energy path to get to the finish line. In your world, think of this as bringing in a game-changing new technology, or a new process like Agile,
or a piece of software that makes collaboration seamless. You're not just making the old path faster, you're creating a brand new, easier one.
And that brings us to a really, really important point. Using an enzyme, using a catalyst, is not about changing your final destination.
This is the key. You have to get this. A catalyst doesn't change the end product. It does not mean you deliver a worse result or cut corners. It's all about keeping the quality and integrity of your goal, while radically improving the speed and the efficiency of the process you use to get there.
This slide just sums it up perfectly. The old way? High effort, slow speed, and you get your result. But by bringing in a catalyst, the smart way, you slash the effort, you crank up the speed, but you still arrive at the exact same high-quality final result. You're attacking the friction in the process, not the quality of the outcome.
So, this all brings us to the most important part. How do you actually take this amazing idea from biology and use it, like tomorrow, in your own work with your own teams?
I want you to start thinking about your challenges in a new way. That project that's stuck in the mud, that team that's just struggling to get going, that goal that seems miles away. Those aren't just problems. They are activation energy barriers. And your job is to stop trying to just push harder against them and instead start asking yourself, what's my enzyme? What's the catalyst that I need to find or, better yet, create?
And that's the question I really want to leave you with. Think about your biggest bottleneck right now. The one thing that just sucks up the most energy just to get it started. Is the enzyme you need a new piece of software? Is it a simple weekly check-in to get everyone aligned? Maybe it's a person on another team who's a natural connector. Or maybe, just maybe, it's a brave decision to finally break the old bonds of a process that just isn't working anymore. Find your enzyme and you'll find a much, much smarter path up that mountain.